themed because we're here. And so the background behind our game is that it's 11 p.m. and of course, as we all know, that's lights out time. So you should be in your dorm rooms and not leaving anywhere. But you have decided to leave and head out for a late night snack. So of course, this is against the rules. So the RAs are coming to chase after you, and they're waiting for you to come back. And luckily for them, there are some winds pushing you towards them, which you're not as strong as. So if they hit you, you start moving towards them. But luckily for you, there are some gaps between the winds through which you can escape. And of course, the goal is to stay out for as long as possible and stay away from the RAs. Because once you get to the RAs, you're caught and it's game over. So how you play is you are basically a sprite or a ball, and you're constantly coming down. The RAs are at the top of the screen. You're constantly coming down. And so because the winds are coming, if you hit a wind, you'll start moving with the wind. But to get through the gaps between the winds, you're going to have to tilt your screen left and right and then get through the hole. And so that's how you get through. And of course, as time progresses, the winds get faster, so the game gets harder and harder. And once you run to the RAs again, you're caught, so you lose.
So this is a photo to show like the expansiveness of a code, and
yeah,
yeah.
Part 1 and part 2.
Oh my gosh.
So we're going to show you some specific parts of this code that we got one for.
Okay, so over here, so one of the main aspects of our game was setting the lines to like the wind to be like random, but still have a hole big enough for the ball or sprite to go through. So how we did this is, so we set up into 2 lines, like line 1A, which would be like the one on the left, and then line another one would be on the right. And so the first one was a random integer between 1 and canvas width minus 50. So it would be like, for instance, if the screen was 300, then it would be like 250, or like somewhere between there. And then the second line would be also like canvas width minus 50 minus because we wanted the gap to be 50 pixels wide, minus the first line width. So it would always be like random, but there's always a space for the ball to go through.
So we just wanted to make sure there was a space big enough, but of course we didn't want it in the same location every time because then it could just fall straight through. We had to randomize that, and so that was one part of our code, a major part of it.
Another major part was setting the ball so when it hits the winds to invert direction instead of going upwards. So while the lines had a heading of 90 degrees to go upwards and the speed, the ball was going downwards. So how we did it is after the ball hit the wind, we multiplied the volley speed by -1 to invert direction and set it to the speed of the lines. So it's like the volley, the sprite was going with the lines.
Yeah, so
upwards.
That's basically how we got the wind to push moving forward. And so unfortunately, our app couldn't work on a phone because it crashed, and we'll show that to you in the video later. But this is just to give you an idea. This is the starting screen. This is the game screen. And the lines are not together. This is just the beginning because we took this off of AppInventor. But the lines basically, this is 50, and there'd be a 50 here or like a 50 here, and they'd be in random order. There's another line at the bottom here. So this is the game screen. That's the background. You can see the RAs and the restart button, the menu button, and then the top displays your score. And then once you hit the RAs here, it's game over. So these are just some pictures from our app.
So one of our challenges was the limitations of AppInventor and like problems with arrays. So instead of, we had 6 lines, and instead of having to being able to put them in an array and then just do like a for each loop to loop through all of them and just have it very concise, AppInventor didn't really let us do that as well as we wanted to. So the code had to be very repetitive. It better repeat all of the code for each line.
Another problem we had was getting the lines to recycle because we needed the lines once they hit the top to come back and keep going because obviously we can't produce infinite number of lines. And then there were also some problems with spacing that were caused by that because we needed to make sure the lines were exactly split so that there wasn't a random gap between 2 of them.
And so yeah, as I said, the repetitiveness of the code, so lots of manual labor, I guess, to copy and paste and then just change the parts instead of just being able to do it like a normal programming language. I guess we do it in a more concise way.
And the worst part was the device not being recognized in force closing, which kind of made it like so we couldn't download it to a phone because it took a while for our devices to be recognized, and then I think we had too much code, as you saw, so it wouldn't load onto the phone, and it would force close after opening the initial game screen. But we did our best job to put together a video that demonstrates, hopefully, how it was supposed to work. Yeah, the instructions screen. That's what happened every single time we tried it. And so, okay. So like right about here. So you can see the lines moving, and then as like that one just hit the top, so it stopped. But you can see how the lines are randomly spaced. After they go up, they start coming back like randomly spaced, and that's how the game is supposed to go. But it was freeze and then so yeah, thank you for listening. Sorry you couldn't get an app that actually works, but we learned that we should start saving stuff earlier, I guess, and work on it later. So it wasn't all bad. Yeah, thank you.